Hey everyone, Creatively Cara here, and my channel is all about taking you along on my creative journey with me. Today we're going to be setting up the month of January in my bullet journal. I can't believe we're already on to a new year, new decade. I'm really excited and I have a lot of goals and hopes for my bullet journal this year and really just for myself in regards to creativity. So I'm hoping I'll be able to continue posting consistently on my YouTube channel. I have a lot of goals on here and really just trying to create that community, that creative community with all of you. So thank you for all of those who have been on the journey with me thus far. If you're new here, welcome. I would love to have you join us on this journey by hitting that subscribe button down below. Now, I got some inspiration for the theme that I have here today. I saw a lot of birch tree themes in the fall time, and I really liked how that looked. I will link to some of the inspiration down below, but I kind of took my own approach on this. I found my own utensils for drawing my birch trees. Basically, I used my Papermate Flare to draw all of the outlining details and the inside details as well. And then I used my Tombow N95, which is a very light gray, to basically provide some shadow detail to the outline of the tree as well as the details on the trees. All of the items I use in the video today will be linked in the description box down below if you want to go and check those out. Now, when I first started creating these, I thought, oh my gosh, those don't really look good. But then once I got the details on there and used my Tombow, I thought that they looked really good, and I'm super happy with how these turned out. So I think that they're very easy to recreate if this is something you want to be able to put in your own bullet journal. And like I said, it's just kind of doing a little bit of outlining, creating some small branches coming off the tree here and there. And then once you get the outline of the tree done, you just add in like 2 or 3 lines at a time, maybe 1 line sometimes. Draw a couple squiggly circles in there just to add in some detail for knots in the tree, and add in the gray highlights to it to kind of help things pop out, and voila, you have some birch trees. Now, I wanted to do some hand lettering in the middle here, and I'm using one of my Pentel brush pens. And I usually, when I use these, I go in a little bit thicker just because I like to be able to have a little bit more detail in there. But I didn't like the way it looked. I don't think I did the spacing quite right. I never do, to be honest with you. But I decided that I kind of wanted to emphasize the circle on this anyway. So I decided to color in the circle I have here using my Faber-Castell pens. I was actually using like the brush pen at first for my Faber-Castell, but that one's kind of dried out right now. So I went over it with the 1.5, and I think that made a big difference on it. And then instead I just went over with my white jelly roll to then do a little calligraphy for January. Again, still a little crooked, but I like how that ends up looking out for the cover page. I wanted to add a quote on the left side, and I just was trying to think of something that would go along with the new year. So I chose a quote by T.S. Eliot, and that is, "Every moment is a fresh beginning." I thought that that felt pretty good for the new year, and this quote just really spoke to me. I just wanted to add a little bit to this page as well, so I added 2 trees along the side and kind of tried to create some of the branches a little bigger on the inside to kind of shape the quote in the middle. I found that a lot of the spreads I did just ended up having like trees on the outside. I mean, personally, when it comes to the theme I've chosen here, I wanted to use just tall trees so you don't really see the top or bottom. That's the aesthetic that I was going for. So it just kind of means that, all right, we're just gonna put trees on the sides, but honestly, I think that it still looks really good, and I didn't end up using any color in this. I thought maybe I'd end up adding some blue, but I really just liked the black and gray colors. It was perfect. Moving on to the calendar page, I have a really nice calendar set up here, and I'm just going to be adding some birch trees to the sides. I'm actually using a new notebook this year, and it's called Vivid Scribbles. So it's kind of a less known brand, but it's got 200 pages with 140 GSM papers, and it's all white. And so far I like it. I do find that my Papermate Flair pen will smear a little bit, especially when I go to erase, but I'm used to it at this point, I guess. But so far all the other pens work really well, and the pages are super thick. But last year I was going through a phase with disc-bound bullet journaling. I don't know if any of you know what that is or if you've heard of it. I will link to my January and bullet journal setup from last year, and that was kind of in a junior size disc-bound notebook, and it was a lot of fun, but I ended up switching to a dingbat shortly after I set that all up, just because for me there's really something about a bound notebook that I absolutely just love. So I usually will stick to this, but I like using disc-bound notebooks for other things, like my grocery list is really easy to take to the grocery store and things like that. So I still find that disc-bound notebooks can be super helpful. What kind of notebook are you using this year? Let me know in the comments below. I don't really have a favorite, I guess. I loved using my dingbats. It was super great. And I've used a Leuchtturm 1917 as well. So I like to keep exploring, and I was just recently using a Paluma, so that was also an unknown brand. I did not really care for that notebook. It was okay. It claimed that it had thicker pages, but I still felt like it didn't really hold up to all mediums well. So I wanted to switch to something new, and I found this journal on sale, so that's what I went with. We had a change in clothing here because I had to take a break during the day and I got cold, so I'm now wearing a sweater in case any of you are wondering. But the next page that we are going to be setting up is my notes page. I just wanted something that was like simple, again, trees on the side and just lots of space where I can write down anything that I need to here. I really wanted to create like a big spread for Creatively Cara. As I mentioned, it's my goal to really start trying to pursue my YouTube channel and my Instagram and other social media accounts more. So I want to start utilizing my bullet journal to help keep me on track with that more, and that's part of my goals, but I didn't know what kind of spread to set up, so that might end up being like a separate video once I do figure out how I'm going to end up keeping track of all of this. So I'll keep you posted on that. But if you have any ideas or any suggestions for me, if you have something that works for you with like projects or whatever, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to hear if there's anything out there that's working for you, to see if potentially that can work for me as well. But yeah, just finishing up my goals page. Like I said, I have a piece for Creatively Cara there, but also I'll be setting goals for finance and just for myself and my family as well. Now, I made a goals page in my 2020 setup. If you have not seen my 2020 bullet journal setup, I will link to that in the description below and in the cards. But I want to add goals page each month so that I can kind of keep track of how those goals are going. So in the collection page at the beginning of my bullet journal, it'll kind of have the overarching goals, and then each month I'll kind of focus on little things for each of those goals and kind of track it and see how I do there. Again, I don't have that all well thought out yet, so it's kind of in the brainstorming process, and I'm going to be doing it as I go. The next thing we're going to be setting up is my currently spread, and this is basically for me to keep track of what I'm currently reading, listening to, or what I'm creating. And then I'm also going to create a section for what I'm currently teaching my children. Let me explain that a little bit more in detail. So basically, it's kind of like maybe a milestone tracker where I just want to keep track of what I'm teaching my children each month. So for example, in January, I'll likely be focusing on encouraging my 3.5-year-old to learn the alphabet. She's got her numbers down pretty well, but still can't recognize numbers well either. But I want her to be able to recognize alphabet, and so that's something that I can help teach her. And then, you know, my 1-year-old, she just learned how to walk, but something that we can start focusing on is learning sign language for please and thank you. It's something that I like to be able to teach my children to do before they can talk, so that they're not just using the whole gimme hands. So yeah, we did it with my 3.5-year-old and it worked really well. I have been having some mental health issues, and I wanted to be able to track my mood and habits and energy, all of that, a little bit more in depth than I have in the past. I've always been really bad, and I say this every time, about keeping up with these kind of trackers, but I've been doing better recently, and I truly believe that this is something that's going to help me understand, what's going on and just help keep me on track. So I wanted to include these trackers here, and basically I have my emotions, and I'll be able to track different emotions here. I am doing a year in pixels, or my yearly moods, and so I'll kind of translate that over to that yearly page as well. But I'll have the different moods here, and then I have my habits that I can track, and a lot of those habits have to deal with some things that can affect your emotion or your energy. And then the bottom section is for my energy levels, so I have high, medium, and low. I'll be able to kind of just chart that kind of line graph wise. So I'm really hoping that those trackers will help me understand what's going on a little bit more. And yeah, I'm excited for that, and I think that it'll go over really well this month. Last but not least, we have the first weekly setup. I plan to do a recording of all my weekly setups for January, so I will get that posted probably soon, because I want to have it done earlier in the month in case any of you do choose to kind of follow this theme or maybe want some inspiration from that. So I will have those posted soon, hopefully. But this one I'm just doing quarter boxes. It's a layout I really like. Now I don't know why I didn't just do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday all on top. I kind of decided to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on one page. Either way it works. As long as I know the flow of this, it'll be fine. But just being pretty simple with this and using my white jelly roll to go over the numbers here. I did actually write 1 on Monday, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, the month doesn't start on Monday. So I had to just write over that again with the black marker and rewrite the numbers in there. But super easy, just using my trees. I know it looks a little funky because a birch tree probably would not have random long branches like that, but it's what I wanted to do so that I could break off the sections. So yeah, I mean, if you don't want to quite do it that way, you can think of something else, I guess, but I think it works. Well, that is all I have for you today. I'm going to show you a quick flip through of the entire month, but let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite spread in this monthly setup. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Until next time, bye-bye.